Welcome to the Yarn and Ewe Girl podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Raggedy Ann, otherwise known as Janine, your host. And today is Halloween, October 31st, so happy Halloween to everyone out there. Welcome to my podcast. It's mostly a podcast about knitting, but occasionally I talk about sewing and other crafts like crochet, things like that, just whatever I'm into at the moment. This morning, very busy morning. I was working at the school, which is why I dressed up. We had a holiday, Halloween carnival, or not carnival, but a party there this morning where we played games and there was lots of food, and so I've been spending the morning there, and that's why I dressed up. I always dress up, though, for Halloween. Well, almost always. If I have to work, even if I don't have to work, I'm in a costume, because to me, I really like dressing up, but if you dress up on other days than Halloween, people look at you funny. So Halloween is the one day of the year or around Halloween where you can have like an excuse to dress up in a costume, be strange, be unusual, and just go with it. And people don't look at you like you're crazy. So I try to take advantage of that. And this is a costume that I made years ago. It's a Raggedy Ann costume. When I was in college, I was in a sorority at Oregon State. I was a Delta Gamma there. And we had a little mascot doll, and her name was Happy Hannah. And she was basically Raggedy Ann, right? We also had a costume that was in with all the stuff that somebody had made years ago. And it was very much like this costume. I remembered finding it on my senior year and like borrowing it to wear for Halloween. And I really enjoyed the costume. I thought it was super cute. I wanted to have one of my own. So when I got out of college, I made myself this. And I found the pattern. It's like a McCall's or Butterick pattern. I have no idea what pattern number it is. But it was not hard to do. It was probably one of the first projects that I ever really of clothing that I ever really had sewn. I'd done aprons and things like that, I think, before, but as far as a costume had gone, this was probably my first one. And it's a little big. The patterns for those big pattern writers, the sizing is always a little bit weird. I'm never sure what it's going to end up like. So the sleeve caps on these they're really far down here, so I've pinned them up. And my stitches and seams are not very good. But you know what? I don't care. That's the beauty of practicing your sewing on Halloween costumes. They don't have to turn out great. You're not going to wear them every day. You're wearing them once a year, maybe more if you're really into dress up and Halloween costumes. But yeah, so this is the one I wore today. It is not the one I was planning on wearing for Halloween this year. I actually have a Poison Ivy costume, but it was a little short, as most female store-bought costumes are these days. They're very sexy, as they put it. Sexy nurse, sexy Poison Ivy, sexy kitten, or whatever, right? So it was a little short, and I wore it to our carnival on Saturday night. I had it's a halter top, which, I mean, come on, like, if you live anywhere besides, Southern California or Florida where it's super hot, like, how can you possibly wear a halter top on Halloween? It's freezing usually. This year was not that bad at the carnival, but it was an outdoor carnival, so I wore a leather jacket over the top of it. And the costume had tights and, like, a sash around the waist that sort of hung down in the back, which was great because it was a very short skirt, and I just felt like for in the classroom today, that wouldn't be super appropriate. So I pulled out the Raggedy Ann costume and I wore that. And then I think I will be wearing Poison Ivy tonight, though, when we trick-or-treat, just because my husband's going to be Two-Face, and we kind of wanted to be villains together. And the boys, originally, both of them are going to be superhero from DC Comics as well. So Dylan is Batman. Jordan was going to be the Green Arrow, but his costume was literally like a hoodie. There's nothing exciting about it, so he did not want to be the Green Arrow, which sucked because I spent like $40 on a stupid costume that is just a hoodie. Like, that's all you get? I mean, come on. Whatever. He had like an arrow, like a bow and arrow set that I was going to be able to like accessorize him with. But it was really like, I mean, it should have only cost me $10 for that stupid thing. I'm a little fumed to buy it, but whatever. So instead, he borrowed a costume that my dad actually wore last year of this like creepy Joker. It's not the Joker from Batman, but it is a Joker costume, like a jester costume. And it has these long fingernail things off the gloves and this crazy ugly mask, and it's a little scary. He wanted to be that. So that's what he went to school as, and that's what he plans on trick-or-treating it. So I wanted to kind of keep with the theme, at least somewhat. So Matt and I are going to be Poison Ivy and Two-Face tonight. So today I'm wearing Raggedy Ann. Anyway, that was a really long tangent about the Halloween carnival, or the Halloween party at the kids' school. So, on to some nuts and bolts of the podcast. Welcome if you are a new viewer. Thank you so much for checking me out. I hope you enjoy the podcast. And if you want to look for me on the internet, I'm at Yarn and Ewe on Instagram and Facebook as Yarn and Ewe. And the Yarn and Ewe Girl on Ravelry. Those are the places that you'll find me. Mostly I'm on Instagram. I'm occasionally on the other spots. And I'm trying to get better about being on Ravelry more and more. So there is a podcast group as well. And right now in the podcast, we have a gift along, knit along going on, which is a knit along that basically you can make anything crochet or knit for someone else as long as it's for one of the major holidays coming up, and it runs through December 24th. I'll accept any work in progress. It doesn't matter. You didn't have to start it within the time frame, but you should finish it before December 24th. So post your finished objects over in the finished objects thread, and there is a chatter thread in there as well to talk about, you know, projects that you're thinking of making, ideas, things like that. So go over there, be sure to do that. Use the hashtag GalCal if you're posting on social media so everybody can see what you're doing. And I have some prizes. I actually got some prizes a prize in the mail for you guys today, which is super exciting. I think I showed you guys one of the prizes already. Let me pull it out here though. It's this sock kit. It's got a pattern called Lover's Knot, and it is the pattern's designed by Sylvia Harding. It's a cable pattern on the foot. It does have some beadwork on the sock there, and the kit comes with the beads and the sock and the yarn as well. And the yarn is Knitted Wits Cashy Wool, which is 70% cashmere, 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And it's this nice, lovely, bright red yarn called Lover's Knot as well. So that's going to be one of the prizes. And the second prize that I have is from Megan of Little Fish Stitches or Creations by Guppy on Etsy. She contacted me a while back and asked if she could gift something to the podcast for the gift along, knit along, and of course I said thank you so much. That sounds like a wonderful idea. So she sent me a project bag for you guys, and I got a little one for myself too, but let me show you the ones I'm giving you guys. This one is Christmas themed project bag. It's like a bucket bag, and I'll show you mine. Mine's a little bit smaller. I got one of her sock size ones, but the bag is a bucket like this, and then it has a drawstring sort of center there. So this one is just the perfect size for a skein of yarn and a pair of socks that you might be working on, and it's perfect for me because I love to stand in line or while I'm waiting for something. I like to be working on my socks. So this is awesome because it won't, like when I use my drawstring project bags, which I do all the time and I love them, but they tend to, I was looking for mine, I had it brought up here, I thought they tend to, like, the yarn kind of twirls around the drawstring part that I hang on my arm, and this won't have that trouble at all. So thank you so much, Megan. You should check out her shop. She's on Etsy, Creations by Guppy, and she is also the dyer behind Little Fish Stitches, and she makes project bags too, and they're super, super cute. So you should definitely check her out, and thank you again, Megan, for donating that. That's going to go in the prize bin, and it should be really fun. So make sure to get your finished objects over there and enter them in to win. So now that I've got all that done, let me just tell you guys, this is the second time I've started this. And the first time, things were rolling, things were really great. I felt like I was saying everything that I wanted to say, and it was all coming out so eloquently, and then I realized I didn't have the volume on my computer. So, had to start over. So I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts at the moment because I had it all and it was great and it was going to be like brilliant, but it's like one of those moments where you want to capture it and it's like the best thing and you know that you recorded it, but then you look back and you run out of battery or something, or whatever happened, it didn't record. So mine, the volume wasn't on, and I don't know how the volume got turned down because I'm the only one who gets on this computer and I don't remember turning it down for anything. So anyway, I'm drinking my afternoon dose of Spark. That's the blue raspberry colorway. It matches my outfit today. Anyway, moving on. So I think that's it for like nuts and bolts and info stuff. So let's move on to finished objects, and I have 3 finished objects. It's like, let's have a party because that is pretty amazing. So let me find them. The first one is right here. Is my October pair of socks. And I don't have my sock blockers because they are in my pile of stuff that just got back from the Tacoma Holiday Food and Gift Festival. All that stuff's still in the garage. And I don't unpack it, which is why the room is still empty, because I'm just going to another festival here in a couple weeks. So to me, it's a waste of time to unpack it all and then repack it. It just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, these are my Cat in the Hat socks. And I finished these in Tacoma while I was doing the Holiday Food and Gift Festival, which is great because I was selling the kit there as well. So it's just a vanilla sock. I started at the cuff. I did them one at a time, and I did them on zeros. The first sock I made almost half the sock, more than half the sock, probably to here, on a US 0 9-inch circular. And I had a really, really hard time with that. They were fine, but I felt very awkward with them. And then my elbow started hurting really bad, and I honestly think it was from the 9-inch circular. So I didn't want to have to work on them on 9-inch circulars while I was at the show, so I swapped out for a magic loop and finished them up on magic loop, and I did the second one on magic loop. The gauge is very similar, first one to second one, so there wasn't really any gauge change issues. It was just, for me, I think the 9-inch circular is just not the way I can do it. I know people love them, and I had so many comments on the 9-inch circulars, and also comments on my elbow. So thank you everyone for all the tips and good advice. It's feeling much better now, but it's still kind of aggravated a bit. And I think it's just, gonna need to, it was really bad. I've never had it hurt that bad before. And I've had issues with tendonitis in my elbow for a while. But that one, it was almost not even in my elbow. Like tendonitis, you usually, like I feel it right here. It was literally like on the elbow that everything hurt. And I don't know if it was because of the 9-inch circular or not, but it started getting better when I quit using them. So I'm going to say it was probably the 9-inch circulars. I don't know. But anyway, magic loop on the other one. This is my rock and roll sock base in the Cat in the Hat colorway self-striping kit. I don't have any more of these left right now. I sold the last one just this week. But I should be making more. I've got some more yarn coming, and I want to have some more kits ready for the Puyallup show that I'm going to on November 17th. So hopefully I'll have some more, but I will keep you guys posted on social media whether or not I have more kits. But I do still have some of the Lorax kits available, but these are the Cat in the Hat ones. And they're a little sparkly. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in there, but I love them so much. They're so cute. So that is my October pair of socks done. I'm very, very excited about that. The next finished object I will show you. It's actually two of the same. Pardon me. Let me just bend down and get them. So I was looking on Pinterest, just trying to find, you know how you just look on Pinterest for ideas and inspiration and things like that. And I came across this Crochet Bunny pattern that is free. The pattern is by One Woof Dog, I believe. One Dog Woof. No, One Dog Woof. I think. Oh, God. I'm horrible. Sorry, guys. I think it's One Dog Woof. Anyway, she's a crochet designer. The pattern's on her blog. It's free. And it is just a free and easy crochet bunny pattern. And oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how cute I think these things are. They are squishy and soft and so fast, super fast to crochet. So the yarn is Lion's brand, thick and quick, chunky. I think, I'm not sure what the colorway was. I might have the ball band somewhere. I doubt it, though. I have to tell you, not the easiest yarn to work with. Not at all. Definitely gives you the awesome, like, soft, fluffy feeling if you're going for a stuffy. It's very difficult to see the stitches, which in one respect is great because I'm not the biggest fan of the crochet, like single crochet look, but this hides some of that, so it just looks like a great stuffy bunny, but you can't see your stitches at all. Excuse me. You can't see your stitches at all. So I was kind of winging it like the whole time and doing the little magic circle for crochet with this yarn that was all hairy, and it was difficult to get the magic yarn or magic circle to tighten up like it was supposed to. So, you know, but honestly got them done in a day and a half. I got 2 bunnies done. I was like flying. The nose is some leftover yarn that I had, and then you just use some safety eyes. You do have to be careful with the safety eyes, and she talks about how where you want to put them in your, you know, through the yarn so that they don't fall out. And they still need some a tail. So I do plan on putting a pom-pom tail on the back of both of these. These are going to my boys for Christmas. They do already know that they're getting them. But, you know, I can't like hide my work from them. I don't know. But if I'm interested in working on something, I'm working on it right then. And if my kids are around, then they're going to see it. So I'm not hiding them, but they're not getting them until Christmas. So these can go in the gift along. And plus I still need to put a tail on them. But anyway, the pattern is by One Dog Woof. It's a free crochet bunny pattern. So easy. Except for the yarn was not super easy. But that's the nice thing about it though. It's like, even if I know I didn't get the right number, like my arms did not end up being the same on both of them, but I didn't really care because it's just a floppy bunny. Like, as long as they kind of look right, then they're okay, right? I don't know if this is the front of the foot or the back of the foot, and I don't know if I put it on right, but it looks okay. And the stuffing, like, that's the other thing, like, you use a size L hook, and so your stitches are pretty loose, but not so loose that the stuffing shows through, because the hairiness of the yarn kind of covers that. So I really liked these. I thought they were cute. So fun, so squishy, and so fast. Oh my gosh, I forget how fast crochet can be sometimes. I don't do a lot of it anymore these days, so I forget. But the nice thing about those is I was also trying to kind of mix things up a bit, see if it helped my arm or helped my hand from being, bothersome. So that's it for finished objects, you guys. I have 2 works in progress that I'm going to show you guys. You've seen both of them. I don't have any new cast-ons. I'm trying really hard to finish the sweater, the sew faded sweater that I'm on. So let me show you where I am on that. I have got 1 arm done. Hallelujah. And I hate arms. But I have 1 arm done. And I started the other arm. And that is going pretty quickly. If you can see that. I have my stitch markers, kind of mark where I did my decreases, because I don't always follow the pattern decrease recommendations. I usually use them as a guideline, but I actually didn't decrease nearly enough, or as many as they recommended in the pattern for the wrist long ones. I did 1 less decrease, and then I waited all the way until the end and decreased it out here, because I felt like when I was putting it on that the arm was getting kind of tight, and I wanted it to not be super tight right at that area. The stitches were pulling a little bit and things like that. So let me tell you a little bit about the yarn. It is Whip Yarns, and it is on her Sock Rock base. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. The gray color at the top is Castle Stone. The light green color in the middle is You Mean the World. And the dark tealy one at the bottom is Chrysicola. And these came as a fade kit on her Etsy website. Had 2 other colors in them, but I felt like they didn't fade as well. Even though they're beautiful colors, they were purples. I didn't really want to throw purple in there at all. So this is, I just used 3 of the colors, and I figured I'll use the other 2 purples for something else. I'm not sure what. I haven't decided, but that is almost done. This is all I've been working on. I showed you guys I finished my Mariel Brioche Cowl, my small version in the bulky yarn, the last episode. So I finished that. I only worked on the Cat in the Hat socks during the Holiday Food and Gift Festival. And then after that, I decided, okay, now I can pick up some of these other projects that I haven't done or couldn't work on, because at the show I want to work on stuff that's my yarn or yarn that I carry in the shop. Because if you're not working with your own stuff, then there's something wrong with you, right? Like, as a shop owner, you should be making things with your own yarn, right? That just makes sense. If you don't make stuff with your own yarn, then how are you going to be able to sell it to somebody else? So I really wanted to focus on getting those socks done. And then when I got home, I could work on something from somebody else's yarn. And I really want to finish this so badly. So that's close. That's very close. And I will hopefully be doing some of that today, maybe a little bit later, before trick-or-treating or after trick-or-treating, something. So that is my Sew Faded. The pattern, it's by Andrea Mowry. And it's almost done. It's almost done. I have so many other things that I want to finish too. So I haven't picked up my Sizzle Pop again. And I need to cast on another Mariel Brioche Cowl. Right now, by the way, that's my 2-color brioche cowl pattern that is in process of test knitting right now. You guys have seen 2 different versions on the podcast here. I have a couple people testing, a couple people who are finished testing it. So I'm thinking it should be out middle of November. I'm not 100% sure on the date yet, but I will keep you guys posted on that. But like I said, I do want to start I have somebody testing a fingering weight version right now. And I'm thinking based off of her test, kind of I can maybe extrapolate for what you might want to do for fingering weight, because I think this cowl could be super universal for any weight size. Like I said, I've done one in worsted, I've done one in bulky, and I think having one in a fingering weight would be really nice too. The way that the pattern is written, it's just a pattern repeat of 32, and you could basically extend it for longer if you needed it. So I know that the small size would probably not work very well for a fingering weight cowl, but the medium and the large, and then I could even have another size for the fingering weight one if I felt like the large wasn't big enough. But I'm planning on casting on that, I think, actually here very soon. I just I'm thinking of using size 5 needles, maybe 4s or 5s. I'm thinking 5 though. But I think that's what my Sizzle Pop is on right now. And then my sweater is on my 5s right now. So I'm kind of wanting to finish the sweater, at least get to the cuff, and then I can maybe cast on a new Marielle brioche cowl in a fingering weight version so that I can kind of show people what that's going to look like and really give people a good idea of what yardage you're going to need and everything else. But so far the cowl test is going really well, so thank you everyone who is participating in and testing that for me. I truly appreciate all your feedback, and yeah, that should be done soon. So my very last work in progress is my Moody Stockings by Leuder, and I've done a little bit more than you guys saw last time. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a Gansey knit design, which I love the texture of Gansey. These are done using my US size 1 Chow Goo. And I've gotten through all of the pattern. There's 3 pattern repeats, or pattern difference. Okay, let me start over. There's 3 different sections on the leg of patterning, and then the last section, section D, is all the same pattern, and you'll take that down onto the instep and onto the foot. I have not started that yet. I finished this section the night before the holiday food and gift festival, and I really did not feel like trying to work on something like this. Even though it's just knits and purls, it's definitely detailed enough where you should be paying attention, and I didn't have the pattern for the new section memorized well enough to be able to actually work on it. So I'm going to be working on these as well. These are in Lorna's Laces Shepherd Sock in the Grapevine color, I believe. It's just awesome purple, just really rich purple color, and have that in my cupcake Yarn and Ewe drawstring bag. So that's all I got for works in progress, you guys. I know, I feel like it's a really slow, it was a really slow 2 weeks, but it hasn't been slow at all. I mean, I was so busy with the show. One day, we were actually joking and laughing in the show because if I didn't make much progress on my socks, that was a good day, right? Because I was busy and selling a lot of stuff. So on Saturday was probably the busiest day, and I just, throughout the whole 10-hour day, I only got the heel done on one of the socks. So I counted that as a win. But it did mean that there was less time for me to be knitting and working on other projects while I was there. And then when I got back, I've been trying to replenish some of my hand-dyed stock to bring to this other festival. So I've been working on some of my self-striping yarns because those went. Most of the ones that I had sold, especially the Seahawk colorway that I do, that one sold out. And I only had a couple but I wanted to have more to replace. And so I've been working on doing some more dyeing, and then, you know, working with my testers to make sure that this new pattern is going really well. So that's kind of what's been going on. I am going to be in Puyallup. I don't know if I said, but it's at the Washington State Fairgrounds. See, I think I talked about this when I first recorded and realized that it didn't have the volume on. But it's going to be at the Washington State Fairgrounds in November from the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And I am going to be upstairs. It's a 2-story show, so it's not the same place that I was last year. If you came and visited me there last year, it's not the same place, unfortunately. I thought that I was going to have the same place, but there was kind of a snafu with the company who dealt with all that. I put in my application. I got confirmation that I was going to be part of the show back in December last year. And then as things came closer and closer, and we were getting to be like 2 to 3 weeks away, I hadn't heard from them. So I finally emailed the guy. I'm like, hey, I thought that I had a spot. Like, I would have thought I would have had an email or something. And they had lost my contract. So, and the show had sold out. So that kind of sucked. So that means they gave my spot away. But they did have a spot, a cancellation for an upstairs corner booth, which upstairs is not where I wanted to be. I really liked being downstairs. But it's a corner booth, and I'm in the show, and I'm not being charged a ton because he took off a big, you know, he did a big discount for me because of the mistake. So that's fine. So I'm not exactly sure where I am, but it's upstairs, and it's on a corner. So if you're there, I think it's free parking and maybe like a couple bucks to get in. It's not very expensive. If you're there in the area, come and say hi. But anytime those days, I would love to see you. And I'll be just up there selling my yarn and projects. And I'll have some of my patterns available and some kits and things like that. So project bags, that kind of stuff. So if you're in the area, I'd love to see you. And that is kind of all she wrote today. I hope you enjoyed this Halloween episode. I'll see you guys next time, and be real safe tonight. Okay.